What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. We're here with Mr. Joccola Thomas at Kreamies Bakery. This is going to be one of the hardest episodes I've ever done because the smell is driving me absolutely crazy because everything smells so decadent and delicious. Just giving you a heads up, if I, get distracted, it's because of all the treats that I'm looking at over here. Mr. Joccola, what do you have to say to the Positivity Posse before we get started today?
Hey, y'all, and get creams. Come on out, get cream. Come out and try some of our great, sweet, decadent, delicious desserts and come get creams.
Awesome. I'm excited for this episode for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, wherever you're watching from in the world, welcome to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Get ready, everybody. Raise your vibrations, like, share, do whatever you got to do because it's time for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's get it.
Takes a village about keeping our families together.
God bless this organization.
Through the valley of the shadow of finale, I will never feel no fear. First the reaper gotta catch me. I don't care who got the next crown. I'm the true and living right now. Thought you lived to see my last breath? Go ahead and put your best down. Run with the wolves and we unify. Hungry enough to eat you alive. We never breaking formation. I live and die for this crew of mine. Been to the bottom, dehumanized. Found my divinity through the fire. Pushed through it all and I stood tall. That's cause a legend can never die.
Welcome back, everybody. Like I said earlier, to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. We are live here at Kreamies Bakery in Belmar, and I'm super excited to be here. Mr. Joccola, how's your day been so far?
Oh, busy. Pound cakes and strawberry crunch cakes and orders for Easter. I've been busy.
Man, when I tell you, you offer some desserts that I've never seen before. And the other day, I couldn't even control myself. I ate it all in one sitting. But let me tell you guys, at Kreamies, you're not going to be able to find, you can find, your typical cookies and cakes. But Mr. Joccola, what about the product makes it so different from everywhere else?
It's scratch product. It's baked with love and care, and it bursts with flavors. My goal was to offer a product that you couldn't just walk into your typical bakery and pick up. So if you've ever witnessed our pound cake, then you understand what I'm talking about. Anything from pound cake to our bread pudding. I put some bread pudding out on the shelf the other day. It's a decadent bourbon brown bread pudding. And we pair it with one of our scratch creams, and it is amazing. That's just something you're not going to walk into an average bakery to get.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
later on, we're going to show you just one quick example because I got to show the strawberry crunch cone.
Yes.
I'm not sure the specific name for it, but when I
That's
tell you,
about right.
yeah, it was heaven in a cone, basically. And I
Uh-huh.
can't wait to show you guys everything that we got going on here at Kreamies Bakery. If you can, just to let you know, you might get a rush of people coming in here.
Okay.
I had a few people that wanted to come during the episode live.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
y'all got to wait to experience all the great things and decadent desserts that
Uh-huh.
that you have to offer. But
We're open till 7, so they can come on.
all right, well, you got 2
Just
hours,
give us
right?
some
No,
time.
1 hour, yeah. So come on in if you're in the local area and say what's up. And
Yes.
who knows, you can come on in and maybe share a few special words.
Mhm.
But we're going to be talking about your story for today because your
Yes.
story is very, unique
Mhm.
in that you had the opportunity to just, all right, how do I want to say this? Like you could have laid down and died basically and just given up on everything, but you decided to have that perseverance and that
Mhm.
resilience. So we're going to be talking about all those great things for today. But first, every week we open the show with the affirmations for happiness. And let me tell you, every time that we open up this book, it is always in, an alignment with everything that we have and what we're going to be talking about for today. So please do us the honors, pick a
Okay.
random page in the book. And I say random, but it's really always in alignment.
Mhm.
And you're going to do this the honors of reading it to us.
Alrighty, so you want me to read both pieces
Yeah,
here?
yep.
Okay, so it looks like the subtopic is I help generate happiness by nourishing my mind. Okay, I am kind to my mind. I give it everything it needs to function optimally for me. I think nice thoughts. I practice beneficial perspectives. I give it time to rest, and I use it as an ally on my journey toward more happiness.
I love
this
it.
This is amazing.
I told you.
I need to put this. I don't know if you noticed, but I have little sayings all around my wall, and I'm gonna take a snapshot of this.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
awesome.
No, I
Mhm.
didn't notice because my eyes are just fixed on
Fixed
all
on-
these desserts. I'm telling you.
Fixed
I-
on the sweets.
Yeah, you already know. And I love food, so that's where my mind was going.
Okay.
But talk about that a little bit. What did you think about the quote?
I thought it was perfect for today. I was just speaking with one of my employees, and we were talking about the ebbs and flows of business. And some days it's just like, oh my God, I don't know if I can make it. And then, woof, you get a burst of energy and you remember that God did this and it's perfect in his eyes. And anything that God does, it's going to work out. So I had to get myself together, shuffle my mind and back into a happy place and just push forward.
That's what I'm talking about. So thank you for that. One of the things that really stuck out is talking about giving your mind a rest,
Yes.
which a lot of people think that we need to go,
Yeah.
and that's how we will produce the results. But
Yes.
that's not really the case. Make sure you're taking some time to take a step back,
Mhm.
find the silence. Me, you already know I love to meditate every single day, and that's where I start to find my answers. So, and if you do give yourself a rest, don't feel bad about it, because if you're feeling bad while taking a rest, then are you really resting? No, you're not.
No,
You're just
not.
in a state of stress.
Right.
So that's what really stuck out to me. And if there's anybody watching, please enjoy the rest, take a break, because Mr. Cola, your shop is closed on some days, right?
Yes, we're closed on Mondays. That's the only day that we're closed. And that's the day that I try to rest my mind.
It may not work that way all the
No,
time.
it doesn't work that way all the time. But the way I look at it is that I get to do things in my own speed. And for me, that's a place of peace and rest. Things that I get to do in my own speed, my own time. I'm getting to it as per my time. Okay, my pace. That's my place of rest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there it is for everybody. And I just want to touch on one other thing too. I had a discussion with my friend the other day, and he was going through some things, and I want to talk about doing what you need to do. If there's something, anybody that's watching right now, if there's an action that you need to take, or if there's something that's been on your mind heavy that you just need to do, please ignore all of the excuses and the reasons not to do it. Because number one, when you do make those excuses, you're going to feel worse about not taking that action. And then once you start to feel worse, then, you just lead down a bad path. So I just wanted to say that for everybody that's watching right now. If there's something that you need to do, have the confidence to do it and just take that step, because I know we're going to be talking about your story, but I know when you were talking about your story, that is one of the things that you just did. You just did it.
You have to do it. That's the thing about taking chances, seizing the opportunity, the moment, if you will. The biggest mistake that you can make is not knowing what would have happened if you had have jumped and taken a chance. Someone once asked me about my 18-year-old self and what I would say to my 18-year-old self, and it was just do it because you're 18, and everything is recyclable. Credit, possibilities, thought processes, the whole thing. It's you can just do it all over again. So, but like I said, the worst thing you can do is just not do it, and then never know what could have come of it. So.
Yep, and I think that pain is way greater than anything that we might be experiencing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, we have a bunch of people in the comments already. My positivity posse. Like I said, if you guys are watching live or on the replay, please just drop a hashtag positivity posse. I see that you guys are already starting to do it. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, David, for that. And if you have any questions during the stream, please just let me know so Mr. Joccola can answer it live for you guys. For any questions that you may have, Dano, in your house, yes, you already know, every Thursday at 6. All right, cool. Go with inspire action, not by default. Okay, perfect. I love it, and I love it again. So, Mr. Joccola, it is time to talk about your story because it is absolutely incredible, and it's just really a testament of what happens when you decide to follow your spirit and you just take the chance on yourself. So I remember very early on when you were telling me a little bit about your story, it all started by you being furloughed. And who would have thought that, at that time, you probably thought, how am I going to make ends meet, or, all the things that you had going on at that time. So can you talk about how that experience, that event of being furloughed was actually a blessing in disguise?
Wow. So in 2019, I stumbled across a gift, an untapped gift. So don't underestimate those, right? And I started baking, and it just kind of like caught like fire. I made a post on Facebook on a Friday or Thursday.
Not the kitchen catching on fire,
No,
right?
No. So I made a post on social media, and it caught like fire. By Friday, I had 11 orders for cupcakes. And at that time, I think I had about 5 cupcake flavors. By Saturday, I was up to 3-4 o'clock in the morning, baking up to a little bit over 300 and something cupcakes.
Wow.
And after that, every weekend I would think, well, it's going to, business is going to slow down, or, something's going to change. And instead, every weekend business accumulated. So what I started was something called Welcome Wednesdays, because I told you I only had a couple of cupcakes when I started. So every Wednesday I started introducing a new cupcake, and then I would show like the ingredients that I was going to, use with it. And it just continued to manifest. So I started at LLC, and I rented a kitchen because we were getting close to Thanksgiving. My nail tech asked me to make my very first cake for her son. And I didn't think I could do that, but I did. And it kind of flopped, but I am my own competition. So I was determined to figure out how to make that next one, what it was supposed to be. And then the story just, it goes from there. A couple months after I started, we were actually in 2020. And that is when we discovered COVID. Or like the hearings of COVID. I was put on furlough in like March, I guess, or April. And then business, you would think that business would have subsided a little bit, but the people were home and they wanted sweets. And so they were coming to see me, and word just caught on. And what I realized, someone said to me, well, initially they probably supported you because I have a nice little network based on what I used to do. But then they realized, wait a minute, this is really good. And they just kept coming back. So after a few months of being on furlough, I got the news that my position was alleviated because I was AVP of business development, and they didn't think my team and I would be able to go out anymore to, different companies, and it was really a blessing in disguise. After that, I said, all right, well, God, you gave me this gift and I'm gonna work the work. And that's what I did. And here I am.
And here we are right here in a physical, tangible, tangible building that you created all yourself. Now, you just said that you started in banking, correct?
In banking,
and, banking to baking, there's only a one-letter difference, right? There's the N, you remove the N, you got baking. But I know in the real world, it probably wasn't as easy to make that transition. Can you talk about, okay, we'll pick up after the part where you said people were supporting you, and you wanted to start your own business in person. Were you scared when you opened this, or were you excited?
I was.
What was the mindset?
Well, first of all, I'm not afraid of a challenge. I'm not afraid of a challenge, but the biggest thing for me was the financial aspect of it, because like you said, I've been in banking for it was almost 30 years. And I like my paycheck, my 401k, my pension. Every 2 weeks I knew what was going to hit, right? It put everything on myself. I had to bet on Joccola, and I wasn't always the type of person to say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a entrepreneur. I don't need these people or whatever." That wasn't me. But something just clicked, and I realized that this was an innate gift from God. And through prayer, I realized that this thing was going to go big. Mm-hmm. So again, I took the chance and put some things out there, and I had to remember that every step that I took, I couldn't just jump into it. Every decision that I made, a lot of people thought, that I should have been looking for a building far, much further in advance than I was, but I just didn't get that confirmation. So once I received the confirmation, be it spiritually or just myself, that's when I started looking and found the right place.
Yeah, and there's so many golden nuggets that you just dropped for everybody in there. Number one, you were just saying that, you're your own competition. You're not competing with everybody else, which is very important, because I think with social media, we can start to see everybody else, with our age, or
especially in baking.
Yeah, exactly. Baking. And, we just got to understand that the only person that we're in competition is with ourselves, right. 1000%. So that one. Mm-hmm. And then number two, you were waiting for the signs, which we just talked about earlier. Yes. Prayer, you took a break, and that's when the answers started to come through. So I just wanted to talk about that confirmation and point it out for everybody listening. Yes. Please just take the time and take the step back, because I'm telling you, your answers will come to you as well. Now, we're going to talk about the first day you opened up. I know you said that there was a line out the door. Talk about, the stress and how you dealt with that in the very beginning, because I know if, you open up any type of business, that could be very intimidating. How did you deal with it?
It was a little bit crazy. It was a little bit crazy. So I, as an entrepreneur, I don't have a partner. I do everything myself. So I was a marketing person. I put all the logistics together. I had to go out. I decorated the place. I had to find and research, what machines I needed. So it was a little bit crazy. However, when those doors opened, we had a line up the strip mall. It was a combination of the perfect storm between clients that I had prior to and the clients that lived here in town, because there hadn't been a bakery here in over 30 years. So here I come. And it was just awesome to see that type of support.
Awesome. And, when you put out good energy, that's what happens. That's when you get back. And, yours happened to result in customers and even more opportunities, because I know you said that in 1 year, you had over 7,000 orders in 1 year.
In 1 year.
When it comes to 7,000 plus orders in 1 year, and multiple articles written about you, and, just all these different accomplishments, awards, whatever it may be, it has been, nothing short of really a great, successful story. Yes. Did you think in the very beginning that this would ever be possible if you decided to act on that?
I had no idea what was going to happen. I really didn't. I just knew what directions I needed to follow based on my prayer. I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I knew that the support was going to be there, but when I tell you that the level of support that was there and how overwhelming it was, I mean, because I think I shared with you, the thing was, the support was there, but there was levels to it. We were just kind of tiptoeing out of COVID, and people were still home. And now, instead of them calling me on my phone, they could just walk in the door, coupled with the fact that Belmar hadn't had a bakery. I mean, some nights I was in here 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was literally that man. I'm about to date myself age-wise. I was the guy from Dunkin' Donuts, waking up in the morning, time to make the donuts. But for me, it was cupcakes and cakes. And it was real. And I used to pray, like, God, give me the strength, give me the tenacity to be able to carry the business, because at that time I really was the head baker. I had people that were assisting in other areas, but as far as putting everything together and, like I said, logistically, it was me, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
Awesome, man. Even though it may have been a lot, I can actually tell you why maybe it was a lot. when I just noticed you just said that you asked for strength, right, from
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And when you ask for strength, He's not going to give you easy things to develop the
Right,
strength.
right.
He's going to give you different
Amen.
trials and tribulations.
Yep.
So just be careful what you ask for and what you wish
Right.
for, because you will get it. Like you said,
Right.
if you ask for strength,
Be
you're going to
ready.
have to go through some trying situations
Right.
to develop that strength.
Mhm.
So that's absolutely amazing. And we're just going to take a look at these comments here. Just to, I know the positivity process, you guys are blowing it up in here in a good way. So thank you for that. Look, you followed your dream, and look what happened. 100%.
Yep.
The Lord will not give you anything you can't handle. It was
Yeah.
meant for you. ... I love cupcakes. And we do have a lot of people watching right now. So if you can, I would love to feature and show
Sure.
the people what I'm looking at.
Yes.
Now, my favorite thing, we got to show that strawberry crunch
Yes.
cone.
You want to bring over a tray?
Yes, please, because you guys need to see what I'm seeing. You'll understand why I can't really focus right now. I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying. The purple shirt and tie looks great, looks fire. If you thought that looked fire, then wait, here it is. And talk a little bit about the the tray, what we're looking
All
at.
right.
There.
So I don't know if they can see it, but
I'm
this
just gonna
is,
come.
you want to take it to the camera?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our strawberry crunch dessert cone. It is absolutely amazing, and one of our biggest sellers, actually. The cone is filled with all types of yumminess, from cake to cheesecake filling to strawberry, dipped in chocolate. It's just mouth-watering. And Dano, if you ate that whole cone,
I did. I'm sorry.
all over the place. You want to show them some cupcakes?
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's see that packet that you're putting together.
Yes, I ate it all in about 5 minutes.
You were wired, I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, oh yeah. I was playing Xbox, so that's
Okay.
it helped me perform even better.
Gotcha. All right. So this is an order that Isioma, one of my customer service reps, she's packing this order for DoorDash. And what you're seeing here are specialty cupcakes. And this was the beginning of Kreamies, basically. You're looking at strawberry crunch. We have a brown skin girl cupcake, which is filled with cheesecake filling and salted caramel. The top is a salted caramel buttercream with a chunk of brownie on top. There's a red velvet in there. There is a milk and cookies, banana pudding. This person is going to have a ball digging into this assorted dozen.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous right now.
Go check both of these for me. Yeah.
I'm so jealous right now. Like I said, if you like that, we got more of them here at Kreamies.
Yeah.
But we close at what, 7?
7 o'clock. However, we're open until 9 on DoorDash, and sometimes we'll keep the door open a little bit. So feel free to give us a call or stop in or check us out on DoorDash, Grubhub, or Uber Eats, actually.
Yeah, well, there you go. And like I said, that's why now you guys see why I'm having such a hard time focusing here. Congratulations, Joccola, from Ryan
you.
O'Neill.
Thank you, Ryan.
He says that you guys actually used to work together.
We
So
did.
look
Hey,
at that. I need some of them, David says 100%. Now, I know you were just talking about, if this camera wants to focus, come on, look at that great smile. All right, cool. I know you were talking about, you close at 9.
Yes.
But a lot of people, when they see, let's just say the cupcakes or the strawberry crunch cone or just this building here, they only see the finished product.
Yeah.
They don't see the work that goes into it, the countless hours, the time, the energy, everything that goes behind it. Now, if there's one thing that you want people to know watching right now about, the after hours and the stuff that they don't see about you waking up at 3 in the morning, what would you want people to know about those times?
You need to know that persistence is key. And that you have to get it done because you have customers that you have to meet the expectation of the customer. One would say, I want to work for myself because I'm my own boss. No, your customers become your boss, essentially, because you have to meet the demand. You have to have things in your cases, and you can't change up. Sometimes, employees might come in and say, well, let's try this today. No, we can't, because we started off with this and this is what they're going to want. So persistence and really taking care of yourself, self-care and all that stuff, so that you can actually get up at 3 o'clock in the morning or come home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
I love that. And, like you said, a lot of people think, oh, well, when you're your own boss,
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not easy.
And please, you need to, if you're thinking about having your own business or starting it, you're gonna have to do a lot of inner work as well to make
Yeah.
sure that you can handle the demands and
Yes.
you can handle employees or
Yes.
just taking the steps to make sure that you're doing
Mhm.
everything that you need to do.
Yes.
And having weekly dose, it's the same thing. Like they don't see the preparation work that
Yeah.
goes into
I
behind
saw
the
it.
scenes. Well, that was just the quick version of it.
Right.
But this like even then there's stuff that behind the scenes that
Yeah.
maybe you didn't even recognize.
Right.
But whatever you got to do, just make sure that you're ready for it and that you need to develop the mindset for it.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What's been one of the things that you've learned about yourself through the process of getting Kreamies to where it is today?
Well, you have to have a plan. I know some people, we start off, we may not have a business plan or a plan at all or whatever, but once you get into the business, you will quickly realize that you need a plan. And you need to follow it, and it has to be executed properly. And you have to be ready to change that plan. I know sometimes for those that do have a plan, you develop your business plan, it is thick like a book, and then you never look at it again. Well, you have to continue to look at it because it's ever changing. I just look at COVID. So think about those businesses that had taken the time to develop a plan and, it was going well. And then COVID, what do you do then? And if it's not COVID, then it's the Super Bowl. And if it's not the Super Bowl, then it's something else crazy. So you always have to kind of stay on your P's and Q's, always looking for, the next wave, what's going on. I know in a lot of areas it's, online.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm exploring that because the way of the world is changing. So you have to realize that the door may not always be swinging open and shut to your favorite restaurant or your favorite, boutique or whatever. You may only have the opportunity to sit online and order, but either way, you have to be ready.
Yeah, I want to talk about one of the things right here that David Ramos talked about, and this is so important, is sacrifice. Sacrifice is the key component of success. And like you said, when you sacrifice your sleep, where you sacrifice, financial savings that you may have had to get the business started, there's many different things, or maybe sacrificing, a relationship or time with your kids. It can be so many different things that a lot of people, don't really know. So thank you so much for talking about sacrifice. And I know for me, sleep has always been a huge thing, trying to figure out where my next guest is going to come from, upgrades on different equipment that I need, or even just, going out on the weekends and partying, because I know my friends are doing that as well. And I have to make that sacrifice and say, okay, well, I can't have that fun right now, but I know later on, once everything is developed, that's when my time of fun will come. I'll talk about some of the things that you've sacrificed.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, from relationship with your children, with a significant other, with your friends, it's definitely a sacrifice. You think that you can go into this thing and it's just, a lot of people say, oh, I have time to myself. No, you don't. You don't have time to yourself at all. Like that time is kind of put on the back burner. You just have to be good at finding pockets of time. And when you find those pockets of time, you have to really dedicate and allocate that time to yourself to do whatever you need to do to regain your strength, be it physically, emotionally, whatever it is. So last month I went to Jamaica. I booked a trip in like a week's time. The next week I was on a plane and I had to seize the moment because that was my pocket of time. I love traveling by myself because I don't have to worry about anyone saying, hey, get up, let's go here, or we missed this. No. So I take advantage of all of those times. And then I have friends that understand that. So whenever there's an opportunity, I'll give them a call. Hey, this is going on, or that's going on. And while you're in that, you still take advantage of that opportunity to kind of solicit and market your business. So you're always thinking, you always have to be kind of ahead of the game.
Yeah, and it sounds like time management is a great skill.
Oh my God,
you.
Yes, it has to be.
Yeah, and I know for me, that's something that I'm still working on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect.
If there's somebody out there that needs some help or tips with time management, because like I said, you're up at 3 a.m, and a lot of people may not think that they have the time, which they do. They just don't want to sacrifice their sleep to say. What tips do you have for people watching for time management?
Try and itemize the importance of each task that you have. And I just want to roll back and say, I am not great at that. Like I have a ton of things, but I look at really what, which task would take precedence over the next. So, if I have to do this, and this, then I'm going to take this one in the back and I'm going to put it in the front because I know that I can make time for the next piece. And you have to do that almost consistently. There are times that I'm driving, like, okay, I got this to do, I got that to do, and so-and-so's coming in, Dano's coming in.
Yeah.
What do I do? Okay, I go in and I kind of reorganize what those tasks are.
Make sure you're not doing it while you're driving, because you gotta focus on the road.
You have to focus on the road.
But
that's a whole nother gift, though.
Yeah. I haven't, or maybe if you got a Bluetooth or something, or hands-free.
Yeah.
But just make sure you're staying safe out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, thank you for those golden nuggets. And I can say for me, like you said, itemize, but take the precedence.
Yes.
So very early in the morning, you're supposed to do the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Because if you knock out the hardest thing during the day or early in the morning, then everything that you can do throughout your day is easy. Well,
that's good for some people.
Yeah. Is that not something that you do?
Well, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. I mean, if I have 12 orders due in a day, like for most people, Monday is Monday. For me, Tuesday is Monday. And like Wednesday is Friday. It's just crazy. But so I have to really take a look at my schedule to see where there are pockets of time that I can slide things into. But a lot of times that early morning is not for me. It's the late nights that, it's quiet, nobody's here, or I'm home. So it's, you just look at your schedule and see where you can find a time of peace where you can get things done uninterrupted.
There you go. Yeah. And, like I said, for me, I guess I'm the opposite. That's where I find my peace in the morning.
Yes.
And, schedule out the day, make sure you're doing everything right. But see, there it is. Not everything's going to work for everybody. And thank you for sharing that. So you need to know yourself. You need to be completely honest with yourself to say, I know I'm not a night bird. I'm not an early person. So it's all about honesty, being honest with yourself and taking the steps to do whatever it is that you need to do. We're going to take a quick commercial break because we are halfway through the episode, which I know this stuff it flies by. I'm telling you every week. So we're just going to take a quick commercial break to hear a word from our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring the Weekly Dose of Dano platform. And we'll be right back after a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Like, share, do whatever you got to do to raise that vibration and be present for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano. Let's get it, everybody.
Yes.
Everybody, that was just a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors again for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano and making this happen. And shout out to you guys in the Positivity Posse, just exploding the chat, just all of your great comments. Thank you so much for you guys as well. You already know I told you guys week in and week out, without you guys, it wouldn't be possible as well. And Ms. Joccola, thank you again for taking the time today to making this happen and, just giving these people the golden nuggets that they need to hear.
Thank you.
And let's talk about, some of the difficulties, because like you said, it hasn't been rainbows and sunshines and butterflies, and to make this such a great, a success. And let's talk about some of the biggest challenges that you faced when opening, your own physical location.
So when opening, it was just a matter of managing everything, because I don't have a partner. It's just me. I'm a single proprietor. So everything had my fingerprint on it. I had to figure out everything. I had to do all the research. I did have people that were there supportively. My sister was there, one of my mom's friends, and then her sister jumped on board. And it was just funny how people were coming out of the woodworks like, I just want to help. I just want to be there, which is awesome. Get you some friends like that.
Shoot, sign me up. I'm still looking for them.
Yeah. So that was truly a blessing. And that, it made our grand opening just a lot smoother, having those people, my god sister Denise coming from out of the woodworks, and just kind of stepping up. Everyone was, just here and very supportive. I think the hardest thing was just really knowing when to step back and take a breath, so that you can kind of recuperate and be your best self for the next piece.
Yeah.
And just making sure that all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
I feel like that's like a recurring theme. Is this break and taking the time for yourself for to fully charge your batteries, whether it's vacation, like you said.
Yeah.
I know for me, every single day I find it with meditation.
Yeah, I was gonna say or even if it's just meditation.
Or prayer, like you said earlier too.
Absolutely.
All great things as well. David, thank you, Dano, for another great show. Of course, like I said, I got to provide for you guys, my positivity posse. And like I said, thank you for constantly tuning in, because this wouldn't be possible without you guys as well. Let's talk about mindset. And I remember you said that your father was a huge inspiration for you, because he was, the bassist. Was it for the OJs?
Yes, he played the bass for the OJs for a little over 30 years.
Wow.
But even prior to that, he played for Sister Sledge, Teddy Pendergrass. He was a part of the MSFB band, Mother, Father, Sister, Brother. So if you love the sound of the Philadelphia sound, my dad was the man on the bass, and playing the bass.
So there it is. If you want to go take a second to go listen to it, I love the song. People all over the world.
Yes.
Love Train. I love that song. But we're gonna be as great as the OJs are. Not trying to take away from them. Let's talk about the values and maybe the mindset that he instilled in you that you want to share with other people. What are some of the, things that he instilled in you that you think everybody should adopt?
So there was, he was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And I had the opportunity to travel with him as, he accepted that award. And I did like a little short interview, with him and a few of his other, colleagues that played for some big guys back in the day. And I just asked them to share with us what their mindset was and how they, were able to continue on in their craft, and what would they say to a, striving artist or a struggling artist. And what he said, I'm not going to quote the whole thing, but a piece of it was to perfect your craft and let God take over and lead you in what you needed to do, but to steadily perfect your craft. And so that has truly stuck with me. As a child, I remember him constantly practicing with his little tick, 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 ticker to make sure that he was
metronome. Yeah.
To make sure that, his rhythm was nice, and just exploring new sounds and perfecting the sound that he had. He was the bass player, actually the creator of Ain't No Stopping Us Now. He started with the bass line, and the bass line led to a full song, but he perfected that on his own. And so I think he instilled that piece in all of his children, to really just take whatever it is that God had given you, whether it was something you learned and wanted to put your spin on it, or an innate gift, take it and manifest it.
100%. And some tips that I can give, if there's something that you're really interested in, you wanted to do, let's just say your example for being a musician, right? Study, read some books, or find some information online to get you started and to get you to that level where you want to be. So number one is to study, and number two, just be to do it, right? We just talked about it.
And
just
keep
practice.
perfecting it. Like, don't just, I know how to do this and this is good, and you continue with that same skill set. You have to manifest something new out of it. Like, put your own spin, put your name on it. It's just like in baking. everyone does this, but not everyone does it this way.
Yeah,
And that's what
100%.
sets me apart.
Yeah, and I love that too. So there's so many different ways, but just get started,
Yeah.
please. Well,
Just
whatever
do
it
it.
is that you got to do.
Yeah.
Here, we got some more comments right here. Perfect your craft and let God lead you. Love it. Ain't no stopping you now. You're on the move, 100%. And I love that too, because I know with me, I'm still practicing and trying to perfect the Weekly Dose of Dano platform, which is going to be, a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
But as long as you get started, you're a lot closer to where you want to be at that ideal stage than when you started from the very beginning as well. So just get started, and I promise you that you 1 year from now is going to thank you, and you're going to be so much more confident and grateful that you actually took the time to actually start as well. And I wanted to make one more comment to my friends out there. You guys are ultra supportive. I don't want you to think that I'm dissing y'all, but like I said, I just want to give you guys your credit too, just to make sure that you guys are that I'm showing y'all love as well. Dano right here, your show is awesome. Thank you so much. It's because we feature the great stories such as Joccola's, just to understand that you guys aren't going through it alone, that there are other people, going through the same things. It might be worse than you, because we don't like to compare, because everybody has it the way that they have it, but you are not alone ultimately. And we get to dive deep into what it took for you to get to where you are today right now, which is great. We're going to be talking about something pretty serious, which is going to be failure, which is not an easy topic to talk about. Has there ever been a point in where you just wanted to throw all of this away and just give up?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that time and what got you through that time.
So giving a lot of time, and I don't know if I mentioned to you, during the summertime it gets a little quiet around here, and just trying to work and manage everything from employees to finances to product to family to relationship, and sometimes it can just fall on you all at one time. I think earlier in the show, after reading your affirmation, I was telling you, I was talking to an employee, which is like, yesterday I had dropped something and it rolled underneath one of the tables, and I'm on my knees picking up like a sweet potato or something. And I remember getting up thinking, I am so tired. I can't do this. And I called my cousin and I said, I don't know. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I don't know if I can do this. And she's like, what? She's like, well, you said you never want to work for anyone else again. I was like, I know. I could go back home. She's like, she paused and she said, you need to pray. And I got quiet, because she's not typically the cousin that says that. Like, she loves God, but I'm usually that motivational person. That's why it's very important to make sure you have the right people around you to kind of bring you back together when you feel like you're falling apart. So she said, you need to pray. And I said, you're right. You're right. And then this morning I got up like, let's go. Like, that's just how it is sometimes. The ebbs and the flows of business are serious, very serious, which is why you have to make sure that you are in the right place at the right time. But you're definitely, it's not to say that you're not ever going to go through that moment where you feel like, I can't do this. This is I'm by myself. I'm alone. You're never alone. And there's always something or someone that will come along to remind you, me in this case, that I am never alone.
100%. Yes. I love that. And that's very important for you to understand, because when you're in that isolation and you think that you are alone, then you have no escape, and that if nobody's going through the same thing as you, and it just leads down a very bad path. So make sure that you have the people that are there to support you, to get you right back on track and to snap you out of it as well. And I agree with you. There's been times where I was like, damn, I don't know if I can continue with the show because, there's a myriad of reasons. But here we are today, still going strong. So if you're in that phase right now, or in that point where you don't know if you can keep going or not, just keep going, because tomorrow or a few hours from that day, you never know. That might be the blessing that you've been waiting for. And that's what can pop into your life as well. Here it is. David said, that's right. Never alone. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go again.
Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. To desire is to acquire 100%. You just have to believe that in yourself as well. And, that's very important to talk about, the low points in our lives, because we all have them. Not everything's going to be rainbow and sunshines and butterflies. Now, in the world today, there's a lot of talk about, the gender inequality and everything like that. Do you feel as though your journey has been harder because you are a woman of color, or did you have to overcome any extra obstacles? And do you think that was kind of for your benefit that it happened that way?
Well, I will say in my previous life, my previous career, there were definitely obstacles as not just a woman, but a minority woman. And then I'm going to add in there that in the sector in the career that I was in, that being banking or finance, I was considered a younger woman. And it was definitely challenging, which is why I used to pray every day, God, deliver me. What is next? Because I know this is not your will. And he did just that. And he gave me this. Since I've been here, I would say in the beginning, I felt like it was like PTSD that I was going through from being in the career that I was in as a woman, dealing with a bunch of craziness 24/7. It kind of drifted over that emotional piece into where I am today until I realized, wait a minute, I'm the boss. I'm the CEO. I'm the COO, the CFO. And I call the shots, which means there are some things that I can dismiss or there's some doors that I can open. And it just kind of shifted everything. It does teach you how to deal with people, how to deal with your employees, things to look over that maybe were just crazy or, not necessarily right where you came from. Now I can look at people, hear their story and hear what they're going through, especially in a time like this, and say, I hold the opportunity to say, you know what? I see greatness in you. Let's go. Let's do this. Let me train you. I have 5 employees, and I'd be willing to say that out of all of them, none of them had the background of baking.
Wow.
I didn't. So who am I to say that I'm not going to hire you because you don't have the background? However, there's potential. And so those pieces that you showed everyone, the cupcakes, the cones, they were made by employees with no experience. But I took the time because they wanted to learn, and they had the heart to learn, and they had the tenacity to learn. And I trained them, and that's what they produced.
Yep, and you can definitely taste it in the final product with everything too. And you already know. Before I leave, I gotta grab some as well. And I really love how you, number one, you give people a chance, even though they might not have what it is that you're looking for on paper. But if you have the drive and the heart, then anything is possible in this world.
Absolutely.
Even crazier things has happened, right? So just please keep going and have the heart and the confidence to do whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, if you walk into a room and act like you own the place, you can get anywhere it is that you want to go. So if you take that same attitude and apply it and refine it and work on your craft, everything else will just come to you so naturally, and on the path of least resistance as well. And I know for you, it's not just about providing desserts and all these great things to help people satisfy their sweet tooth, but you're really into the community and helping out and making sure that other people are okay. Can you talk about some of the community work that you've done here with Kreamies?
Yes. So that is just a part of who I am. It always has been. So with Kreamies, we've actually sponsored Triton High School, their basketball team. We've gone out to a few places to vend. Primarily just a matter of giving and just handing out to there's a husband and wife couple. They're in the ministry, in the gospel, and they'll go out to Camden to feed the homeless. So whenever we provide to them on Saturdays or Sundays. It's the measure, give down and you shall give and you shall receive, in good measure, pressed down, shaken together. Well, I'm a believer in that.
100%.
Got to empty out to be able to receive.
Of course, because it's kind of like a gas tank. If your meter's on full of negative things or positive things, you're not going to leave room for it. But like you said, when you have it halfway, and you're able to burn through some of that, you're leaving space for more things to come into your life as well. And if you're interested and you wanted to see more right here, you can follow Kreamies on Facebook and Instagram right here, as well to go to Kreamies LLC. Can they place orders here on this website?
They sure can. They can email me at getcreamtoday@gmail. Is GETKREAMED, the number 2 DAY @gmail. Yes.
There it is. There it is. So, like I said, thank you so much for all of your golden nuggets. And we only have a few minutes left for the episode, and we're going to be wrapping it up. We always wrap up the episode in the
Yes.
same way.
Mhm.
But before we get to that, we got to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
What's your favorite? If you have a favorite on here, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh my God. I think my favorite is the pound cake. It's the pound cake. If you have not tasted a slice or a piece or whatever of Kreamies pound cake, you are truly missing a treat. It's not your typical pound cake. It's moist, it's buttery, it's just yummy. And we drizzle it with our buttercream, which is the buttercream that you've never tasted before. Our buttercreams and creams and fillings are made fresh right here with real butter. So it's not coming out of a bucket or, a tube or whatever the case might be. That's definitely my favorite.
Wow. And like I said, just from being here and smelling all these great things, I gained 2 pounds just by the end of the episode, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world because it is so definitely worth it. And I remember we were talking here and you were talking about the goal and, the vision for Kreamies. So for Starbucks that's watching right now, tell us about your end goal and where you see Kreamies going.
So I had this. Well, I told you about the little video that I wanted to do just to show how Starbucks is such a part of my day. I'll come in exhausted and then I'll drink some Starbucks. And I used to say Starbucks was like crack, but the Keurig
probably throw it in there,
but the Keurig pods aren't as bad. So by the time I've drank my first cup of coffee, I am good to go. And so my goal was to contact them to say, hey, do you want to come in? There's no coffee places in the area. I would love it if you could just set up a little, place in here so that you can, so that my customers can enjoy their pound cake or their cinnamon roll with a cup of coffee. So I'd love that. I'd love to have a partnership with Starbucks.
Well, there it is. Starbucks. If any executives watching right now, please just reach out. Yeah, reach out and just try it for yourself because you never know where that might lead to. But talk about why is it important to have that vision or have that dream?
Well, you have to have an end goal. I can't remember the name of the person that came up with the saying, but it's to start with the end in mind. So whatever goal or fantasy or whatever it is, you have to have the ending in mind. The ending is not necessarily having the doors shut and open every day here at Kreamies. However, it could be to have it shipped to France or Italy or whatever, or maybe on the rack or shelf rather of some major, supermarket. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at, to really just build.
And there it is, and for everybody out there, please just get started. I feel like I've been saying that and we've been talking about that all day. But if there's somebody out there who needs it or who's watching and doesn't have the confidence or know where to start, number one, pick up a book. And number two, reach out to people that have been to where you are, that can give you kind of a blueprint. Definitely. And like you said, let's say if there's somebody who wanted to start a bakery, even though they can't touch what you got going on, but they can do it in their own right.
In their own way.
Yeah, or maybe just starting a business. What advice would you give to them?
Just do it. Start the research. The Bible says to write the vision and make it plain. Write out whatever it is that you want to do. What your end goal is, and then start the research on it. If you don't have the money, just start looking to figure out what you can do to get some capital. And you never know.
There it is. You never know. And don't think about it. What's the worst that could happen? Flip that question and say, what's the best that could happen? Like you said, feel the feeling of that wish fulfilled, and it will happen. Like you said, when you tell yourself that story, you have the end goal in mind now, you will achieve that goal for whatever it is. So we only have a few minutes left, and we always wrap up the show with the same question, and here it is. It's kind of serious. So if there's somebody that's watching right now who's going through their deepest, darkest moments and they can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel, or they don't know how to get out of it, what advice would you have to give to these people watching?
Look up and live. You can't see anything that's buried or down there. Look up and live. Take a deep breath. Think about someone else's story, what your story could really be like. You could actually be here without the opportunity of even experiencing this place. I don't want to say dark place, but it's a process. It's a stepping stone. You just have to look up and live. Take your head out of where you are right now and look up and live.
There it is.
Yes.
So, like I said, tell everybody where Kreamies is and, any information that you want people to know about Kreamies.
Absolutely. You can find me at 367 West Browning Road right here in the beautiful Belmar, New Jersey, in the shopping center where Atlas Gym or Attila's Gym is in Fulton Bank. Or you can hit me up on my online at creamiesllc.com, or you can email me at getcreamtoday@gmail.com, or give us a call, 856-308-1375. I don't care how you get here. Just get here if you can.
100%. And when you get here, I'm telling you, you're ain't going to walk out the same. Yeah.
Right.
And I feel bad for the people at Attila's because I know they come in here all the time.
They stop by. They do.
Yeah. And, all the hard work that they did in the gym, it's worth it. No, 100%.
It is. They'll work it off.
So everybody, thank you so much for being here for this week's episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Miss Joccola Thomas, amazing woman, great story, great personality, and great products. So come out here to Kreamies. Like I said, I've been here countless times, maybe about 4, right?
Yeah.
4 times, and every time I always got to get something. Like
you don't
I
walk
said.
out empty-handed.
Yeah, no. My favorite has been, the strawberry crunch cone. But like you said, try the pound cake and all of these great things that we have. But thank you so much, Miss Joccola.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. For my positivity posse. Oh, we have one question before we get off, actually. Any gluten-free products?
Not as of yet. Actually, so the bakery used to be a gluten-free bakery. So initially I did experiment and I had a wonderful gluten-free pound cake. But you know what happened? My gluten-free customers started coming in eating regular stuff. And if you know anything about gluten-free and the requirements of baking it, you cannot mix, you can't cross-contaminate. So my kitchen's not big enough for me, to be able to have separate things to mix gluten-free products. So I'm sorry.
Got a sad face here,
I'm sorry.
For all the people, that maybe have celiacs or whatever it is, gluten-free is not going to be available to you. But I'm pretty sure there's so many different ways you can work around it. Yeah, there you go. Something in the future. Think about maybe second location, or if you have a bigger upgrade store, that could be something that you can look into. But there it is. Here it is. Okay, got it. Looking forward to it someday right here. So everybody, like I said, that's this week's episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Thank you so much again for sharing your story. Thank you to the Positivity Posse for coming in, blowing up the comments, saying all these great things. Here it is. The cupcakes looked amazing. We still got comments going in. Wait, I just wish you guys could try it right here.
Guys.
Yeah, come in. If you can't order, just come in. And it'll definitely be worth the trip wherever you are. If you're in Delaware, if you're in Philly, it's definitely worth the opportunity to come in. So like I said, thank you guys for coming on today. Thank you for the sponsors for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Please have a safe weekend. Drive safe. Do whatever you got to do. Do it with confidence. Do the prayers. Do your meditation. And I will see you next week. Be safe this weekend. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Everybody, have a great weekend. And like I said,
get creamed.
There it is. Get creamed for you. I love it. Have a great weekend, everybody.